This is his 12th year in the National Football League. A dozen years for one of the best, Tyrann Mathieu of the New Orleans Saints, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Tyrann?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain. It's good to be at work.
12 seasons.
Yeah.
How does that hit you? 12
I don't
seasons.
think it's hit, I don't think it's hit me yet. You know what I mean? I'm still having fun. I enjoy competing. I always enjoy, a good challenge. So, we got a challenge in front of us, so I'm looking forward to it.
No, I understand, but longevity in this league is a rarity. It's a rarity.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
rarity. And I'm not going to lie. I always keep it real with you and you with me. Many people probably thought you wouldn't last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't last one. Or you didn't deserve
Yeah.
a chance to last a single year at all. And here you
Yeah.
are 12 years in. That's got to be something for you at least. No?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you one thing. I'm blessed. You know what I mean? I think God has really, kept his hand on me. And I think too, man, I think I came into the league with, just a perfect situation. I always talk about it. Like just having guys like, Bruce Arians and Patrick Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald. Like this was always the goal, and I just think that I had, the right group of people, around me to kind of help kickstart my career. And I think about it, every step of the way. So I'm grateful for those guys.
What did they do?
Well, I think they gave me a model to follow. Obviously, Patrick Peterson, me and him go way back to LSU, and he's always been a great role model, right? And I think Larry Fitzgerald just taught me how to practice. He taught me how to be a pro, and I think anytime you have a coach that understands you, that supports you, it's kind of easy to get off to a good start, in your career. So I was just blessed, man, with great guys, great people to follow. And then too, man, like you got to win games and you got to make plays, and I think I've done a lot of that.
Yeah, I guess this is a silly question, but I'll ask it anyway. Did you go against Fitz in practice a lot as a rookie?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Right.
I remember being a rookie, just taking his lunch money. It was fun.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Now hold on a second. How would Fitz take that if he heard that right now? Tyrann Mathieu.
Well, he knows I'm not lying, and I think iron sharpens iron. And I think when I jumped off the bus, as a rookie, I think those guys expected me to play, and I think they expected me to play big, and that's the way me and Fitz competed at practice. I probably say he won a good majority of those reps, but I didn't take it as I lost, right? Because I was still learning. So as time goes on, man, I felt like I was always in the place I needed to be. And I think competing against a guy like Fitzgerald, who's a future Hall of Famer, even at that point in his career,
right?
I can only get better.
I've got Tyrann Mathieu here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what are you doing now in year 12 that you weren't doing in year 1? Like what are you doing now?
Well, I think in year 1, I was following those guys, right? Like I was trying to be a sponge, with those guys. And I think the tables have kind of, reversed, right? Like there's a lot of young guys that they want to mimic me, right? On and off the football field. So it's definitely a much greater, responsibility. But, like I said, I feel like I've been raised right. And, I'm just the perfect guy for those guys to want to be like.
Who are you taking under your wing right now? There in
Well,
Saints
a lot of them. Obviously, we got the young kid, Kool-Aid from Alabama.
That's right.
He went to Alabama.
Nice.
It's all right. You know what I mean? Alante Taylor, who I think is going to continue to just kind of elevate and ascend, in this league. And so, those guys, we got Jordan Howden, a young safety who played a lot for us last season. We're going to expect him to continue to play big. And so we got a good group of young guys. We got a good mixture of older guys as well. And so just trying to, lead those guys each and every day and just show those guys like how it's done. You got to put a lot of work in to get to the top. And, so we're looking forward to that.
Tell me about Kool-Aid McKinstry and what do you think he can bring to the equation in just year 1 for your team?
Well, he's bigger than I thought he was. He looks good. He looks the part. Obviously it's it's a learning curve that kind of has to take place. But I think he's smart enough to be able to kind of grasp. And he's playing outside corner. He's playing inside. We're kind of asking him to do a lot. But he come from the Nick Saban tree. So, I'm pretty sure he can handle it.
I'm sure he can. No doubt about that. But I'm sure you remind him it's LSU country where he's currently residing, right? I mean, you must tell him that.
Oh yeah. I mean, he knows it. You know what I mean? He's a Southern kid. He grew up in I want to say Mobile or Birmingham, Alabama. So
Sure.
He knows where he's at.
Exactly.
For sure.
It's for I'm sure there's fresh reminders all around there in New Orleans and in the Bayou. Tyrann Mathieu here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you tell people who are, obviously focusing on Atlanta? Kirk Cousins is there, and their draft choice decision that they made, and we're talking about Atlanta, and Raheem Morris is there, and you know how a lot of players feel about him and respect him, and then there's the Buccaneers who won the division last year and kept all of their folks, and that's where a lot of the, I guess, conversation attention is. What do you say to that, Tyrann?
Well, I think, rightfully so. I think the Bucs have really done a good job of, just closing out the season, the last couple of years, right? I think the division has really come down to, week 17, week 18, right? And those guys have been able to kind of, hold it down. I think anytime you get a new coach, pretty good quarterback with Atlanta and, with the skilled position players that they have, there's always going to be excitement, around that. And rightfully so. I think for us, man, we just come up short, maybe 2-3 years in a row now, man. But what I want the world to know is that, man, you got a motivated Saints team, like we're itching for it. Like we want the challenge. And we're looking forward to it. So, I wouldn't turn the eye to us too much. You know what I mean? Like, because we're gonna come. We come in this season, and we're pretty mad about it. So, you can expect that. You can expect an angry bunch, a team that plays with attitude, a team that plays with edge, and wherever the chips fall, they fall. But we're gonna blow our whole load. Like we're gonna be ready to roll.
What are you angry about? What are you angry?
Well, I think for me, personally, and for the Saints, I mean, we, historically, like this has been a pretty good team. This has been a team that's made the playoffs, year in and year out. A team that has, pretty much won the division, year in and year out, and it just hasn't gone that way for us. And so, I think all of us are kind of used to, playing in the postseason and winning divisions and just playing in meaningful games. And I think the last couple of years it hasn't really been that for us. So I think it's time for us to kind of get back to who we are, what we're capable of.
Well, I mean, you're going to have some opportunities right off the bus in week one. I mean, you've got an division opener, Carolina. You need to win those games at home. And then after that, I mean, at Dallas, that's always an attention grabber, certainly there in the Gulf South. The Eagles come into your house. That is of significance. Then you're at Atlanta, and it's always on when those two teams have at it. At the Chiefs on a Monday night, whole country will be watching that, and then home for Tampa. In the first 6 weeks, that's pretty big. You can make a statement right off the bat.
Sure.
Tyrann.
Yeah, and it's a great challenge. I mean, all those teams are, perennial, playoff teams. I think some of those teams have, this great excitement, right? They have new coaches, new players, and so, I think the first 6-7 weeks for us is going to be extremely important. I think whereas, a lot of teams kind of worry about the back half of the season, I think it's going to be all about how we start, this season. And so, obviously you want to be healthy. You want your best players out there, but, you always look forward to the challenge. And so, like you said, Rich, I mean, it's a lot of great teams on that list, but, we putting in work. Training camp has been, everything we thought it would be. It's challenging. We're going against a new offensive scheme. You know what I mean? So, it's helping us kind of sharpen up our axe. You know what I mean? And communication and, just all the things that go into playing good defense. And, I think offensively, it's a lot of excitement on our side too. Like we can't wait to see those guys, do what they do, in this offensive scheme. And so, we're looking forward to it.
What are you willing to share about what's different on that side of the ball, Tyrann? New offensive scheme.
Oh, man, it's fun, man. I say, the attitude, man. I think the energy and then the attention too. Like, we got a lot of young guys on that side of the ball, and those guys are focused. They're ready. They're excited about it. And, we know we got the playmakers too. We got a running back that can do it all. We got, obviously Taysom Hill. He's another guy that can do it all. And, I think we have enough speed and enough athleticism, on the outside that, we could run the ball, we could throw the ball. We'll be able to do whatever we want to do, as long as those guys, just stay committed to it. You know what I mean? And so, it's going to be fun defensively, for sure. Seeing those guys score points and, just run the yards up, that creates more opportunities for guys like me to close out games.
Yeah, and then you got 2 home dates that are going to be jump off the screen at you as well. After those first 6 games, you got a Thursday night game against the Broncos with Sean Payton coming back into the house. What do you think that's going to be like that night?
That's going to be fun. That's going to be exciting.
Okay.
I think anytime, man, you can, play against quality opponents. You could play against quality coaches. That brings fans, man. That brings the energy to the building. You know what I mean? I think amongst players and fans, like we all know, what these games mean, right? And it kind of goes without being said, right? And so I think for our fans, it's going to be exciting. And I think for the players, man, like it won't be hard to get up for that game.
All right, for sure. And then your quarterback's got the Raiders coming into his house, in the house. What do you think it's going to be like for Derek on that week, Tyrann?
Well, hopefully we could play great defense that day and just continue to give him the ball and just give him as many chances as we can to score points, right? Because obviously, he would have hoped that that kind of stint ended a little better than it did, and so we're looking forward to it.
Okay, the few minutes I have left with you here, just to not to stir it up, but I'll do it anyway. You don't mind if I stir it up. When you referred to the Falcons' new quarterback as pretty good, sounds like there could be more stronger adjectives to be applied to the opposing quarterback. Tyrann, pretty good.
Well, he's always been a great quarterback. I think he's always been overachiever. I think he's always been a guy that can really take what you give him and make the most of it. And so he's not a quarterback that I'll ever disrespect or I'll ever overlook. I think he can make every throw. I think he can put his team in position, at the line of scrimmage to be in the best play call. So, and he's done this a long time, so I've played against him a few times and just looking forward to it, man. You love playing against great players. You love playing against great coaches. And me personally, man, I love playing against quarterbacks that give me a chance. To make a play. So I just look forward to that.
That's a 12-year veteran answer right there. That's a guy who's been in the league a dozen years right there. Before I let you go, Tyrann, clearly, what you did at LSU in your previous football life, taking footballs to the house. I want to give you the floor on Devin Hester going to the Hall of Fame. What are your 2 cents on that, Tyrann?
Well, you're always kind of worried for guys like that, right? Because historically, those guys, they haven't gotten a nod. And I think with Hester, man, like, he was always the exception. Like, his ability to absolutely impact football games from a returner position. It gives guys hope. Guys that, focus on, teams and guys that are, mainly returners. It just gives those guys hope, man, that, if you were able to make an impact, like Devin did, man, like you can get your bus too one day. And so, that's amazing for the game. I think it's been a lot of guys that, I think about Brian Mitchell and, obviously, Josh Cribbs, right? And, even Cordell Patterson, right? Like these guys have completely just, impacted the game for every team that they played on, from the returner position. And so I'm just proud of him, man. I'm happy for him. Like Devin Hester was like one of the first guys that, caught my eye, when I was growing up in Louisiana, like watching the Miami, football team, like in the mid 2000s, like he was the guy that kind of jumped off the screen. Like every time he caught a punt, like he wanted to be watching, like, like you didn't want to miss this. And, man, like he's one of the greatest ever. You know what I mean? And I'm just happy for him, man. I'm happy for Andre Johnson, right? Like, the first Houston Texan ever. You know what I mean? Like these are things that that motivates the next generation, you know, and I think those guys have really, really, played their part. They've done more than enough, to get the nod to go to Canton. And yeah, man, I'm just so happy for them.
You watching the Olympics at all? Before I let you go, you watching any of that?
I didn't, man. You know, we in California now, Rich, for training camp. So it's like,
Oh, that's right. That's
man,
right. You're out down here.
our timing is just like everything's off. You know what I mean? But no, I haven't watched too much of it.
Did you see Noah Lyles? Did you see at least that, the 100 meter? Did you see how?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I mean, initially I thought the guy from Jamaica won.
Right.
Until, you saw the photo finish. And obviously I don't know too much about track and field. Like I didn't know the torso had the crossover. I thought it was like the shoot, like anything across the line,
Yeah.
You win. But obviously it's a little different. But yeah, hats off to him, man.
Yeah.
He can finally say he's a world champion now.
Right, exactly right. Champion of the world, more than NBA players, right, or NFL players. Right. That was funny. Yeah, here's an updated photograph of the photo finish, though, Tyrann. I don't know if you're aware of this. You've seen it, but we have an updated version of it. That's how you lean right there.
That's how you lean, Rich.
You see that? You know me. You know me the way I bring it.
Oh yeah.
Noah has no idea that I finished. That's how fast it was. He didn't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crossing the line.
Right, for sure.
I just figured you'd appreciate that. So tell that out there in Saints camp. Tyrann, it's a pleasure chatting with you. I said it off camera. I'll say it here as well. Just the fact that, I wouldn't want to go into a season without talking to you. Really. I was, and the way you represent the Saints and you represent your home city or any city that you've been in, it's awesome. I'm happy.
Thanks, Rich.
I'm happy to see you in year 12. You bet. Same here. Absolutely. Have a great season 12 if we don't chat beforehand, and keep looking for my call.
I got you, Rich. Thanks, man.
That's Tyrann Mathieu, the New Orleans Saints, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.